What's going on, everyone? Data Report here for datareport.info with today's pandemic update video for Thursday, March 2nd, 2023. Well, first the good news. We have no new COVID positive cases that I have found since yesterday's update. That's some good news. But there's some bad news. The pandemic is clearly just not over. I have found multiple COVID outbreaks since yesterday, and we'll work our way from top to bottom here. There's three of them. COVID is hitting the performing arts in Colorado. Colorado is seeing issues with COVID in the performing arts sector as performers are becoming infected. Actors are being given different roles without having full rehearsal. So just what does that mean? So imagine you're in a play, opera, or some sort of a theater show, and you have been given a side part or something, or a less important role, but you're not the lead actor, and the lead actor tests positive for COVID. The show's set to start that night or the next night. Well, guess what? You may now be given the lead role without a full rehearsal, and the show will go on. That's what's happening here. And the Denver Gazette is where I found that. And you can click on the full article after the description on my site, and you can actually read about that. It's quite crazy, but that's what's happening. And we got another situation. Final two games of the USC San Diego men's basketball season canceled due to COVID. Imagine it being the end of the season. You are a senior on the basketball team, and you get told your last two games of the season are canceled due to a COVID outbreak. Yep, it has happened for the UC San Diego men's basketball team. And, think of it this way, too. Say you're a really good player, and you're a possible prospect to go to the NBA, right? Those last few games, the NBA is watching you. The different teams are watching you for when the draft comes around, and they're saying, wow, look at this player. We really want him. Well, guess what? They're unable to see your performance because your season was cut short due to a COVID outbreak that's caused by a pandemic that is not under control. Then there was this. Off-Broadway's Cornelia Street cancels week of performances due to COVID-19 cases. So I actually found out about this yesterday, but it actually happened 7 to 10 days ago, and they had to just halt all production and all shows because there were so many people testing positive that the show could not go on. It was impossible for them to continue the show. Now, moving on to this. And let me get you the headline here. COVID-19's enormous death toll worldwide, life expectancy has experienced a steep decline. Yeah, I've been reporting on this before. I believe the United States is down to like 76 or 77 years old. At one time, it was close to 80 years old before the pandemic. It's just really dropping. And in some countries, it's worse than that. You can see here. They got a chart here. I'll open this up in a new tab for you to see. As you can see, it was close to 80 years old around the world. Now it's dropping. I believe that's now about, we'll just call it between 73 and 74 years old. So, yeah, it's really dropping now all around the world. Then there was this. I did this yesterday. For those who have had COVID and had another virus since then, was it more severe than normal for you? Only got 844 votes on this one, but that's fine. It does show my point here. 77.3% said yes, it was awful. 22.7% said no, it was not bad. So the majority are saying that when they got sick after COVID again, like whether it be flu, a stomach virus, whatever the case may be, they had another virus. It was worse than it normally would have been before catching COVID. And this proves the point yet again. COVID is wreaking havoc on the immune system, and it's making other sickness more severe than it would have been prior to having a COVID infection. Alright, taking a look at the wastewater. We did a full wastewater update yesterday. I'm thinking we're already going to probably have to do another one tomorrow or Saturday at the earliest, because there was another update to the wastewater map. This map seems to update more frequently. That's a good thing. But there's some concerning data here. So you're looking at the national picture here, and look closely. There's a lot more orange and red areas popping up. I think it's safe to say, maybe not every state, but in various just random states and random areas, we are definitely seeing rises in COVID cases. And you can even see it down here in Florida. Look at this. There's actually an orange area, which represents moderate transmission. So, I mean, every region has various sites where wastewater transmission is starting to rise again. It's still moderate to high in Maine. Those western New York sites, remember they were not showing up as gray? Yeah, they all came back, and look at that. All of them are gray, and they are trending upward, which I find to be very interesting, because as you'll see in a few moments, New York State hospitalizations are not trending upward, but there's clearly something going on in western New York. I think testing at this point, it is just such a horrible metric, cases and testing. I mean, wastewater shows it clear as day. Look at Ohio. It's just loaded with moderate to high transmission areas, as is most of the Great Lakes region. Then you come down here to the Carolinas. It's a general mixture of moderate transmission and low transmission. Nebraska, there's a ton of areas where it's rising. We're seeing more in California now. Look at this update. If it did update with California, come on here. There we go. Look at that. Especially around the Bay Area, Southern California, there's some moderate transmission now. So yeah, there's a lot of different places where transmission has definitely started going up. Taking a look here at the national transmission map from the CDC, 1,764 counties are in high. 777 are in substantial, moderate is in 502 counties, and low represents 179 counties. Not going to spend too much time here on the variant proportion. We'll get a new update on it tomorrow. Just know that XBB.1.5 is dominant. It's going to stay dominant until something new comes along at 85%. Taking a look at New York State. A little bit more cases in New York State today. 1,952. The test positivity today actually broke a trend that we've been watching. It's actually higher than the 7-day average. It's at 3.5% today, and the 7-day average is 3.1%, and that shouldn't be a surprise. What was a surprise is the fact that it actually was dropping. I get it. The majority of data comes out of New York City, but you're seeing, as you just saw in that wastewater, Western New York, it's really rising in the Buffalo area for some reason. And taking a look here at the latest hospitalizations, yes, this did update. 1,758 in the hospital, 189 people in the ICU. That is a drop by 10 for the ICUs. Texas, we had this yesterday. We told you there was a significant rise this week in Texas with 13,465 cases. There were 118 deaths reported this week. And as for hospitalizations in Texas, 1,750. And I'm going to be paying close attention to wastewater in Texas. It may start rising again soon, but there is a problem with that in Texas. They don't have enough wastewater sites. For as many people that live in Texas, they should have double or triple the number of wastewater sites. I get it, some of the rural areas, it can't happen, but it needs to happen somehow. Alright, Walgreens positivity tracker. Things continue to worsen in Maine. Maine has now gone over 40%. 40.7% positivity in Maine. Prior week was 28.8%. That's now up 11.9%. Testing is down, but I think it's safe to say Maine is well on its way to the spring wave, because as we saw last year, starting I think it was about mid-March on, the northeastern states just had a huge wave. And it's possible it's going to happen. Taking a look at the national positivity, we did not do this. 31.4% this week, 31.8% last week. That's only down 0.3%. Eventually, I think that's going to cross to the positive side. I've been saying this for a long time, and instead it's just been relatively flat to slightly dropping. So we'll see what happens. Test this week, 21,588. Last week, 22,752. Taking a look here at West Virginia, 33.3% this week, 26.8% last week. That's a difference of 6.5% upward, and their testing is significantly up too. It's not a lot of tests, but 75 this week, 56 last week. That's concerning. Maryland, look at this, 29.6% this week, 25.5% last week. That's now up 4.1%. New Jersey is up still, 26.4% this week, 24.3% last week. That's a 2% increase. And meanwhile, Pennsylvania is dropping. I don't think that's going to last too much longer because you saw the transmission in Ohio, you see West Virginia, you see Maryland, you see New Jersey, which is at 24 point, Pennsylvania is now at 24.6%. That's down 6.3%, but that's not going to last. There's too many surrounding areas that are having rising uh, positivity right now and transmission. Current week for Arkansas, 37.7 this week. Prior week was 31.9%. And we'll just end on Texas because we are running a little bit behind here. It's a long video. 32.9% this week. 30.4% last week. That is up by 2.5%. Taking a look at deaths this week. So far, for this week in deaths, there are already 926 deaths. That's more than we had last week at this time. And today's update on the site I use here, this is usually the day where we have the most deaths added. Thursday of last week was 1,812, so we really need to watch. It's possible we have more deaths than the previous week this week, which would not be a good thing. Taking a look at ICUs, the latest number is 3,224, and taking a look at the total hospitalizations, 26,438. And if you were wondering, 70,052 cases were added yesterday. But again, cases are not really, I don't even bother too much with them anymore, just simply because wastewater is so much more accurate these days. Cases around the world and deaths. Germany, cases are up 23%. In the last 7 days, 121,042. Preceding 7 days, 98,555. That's a significant increase. Deaths are up by 19%. Coming down here, we also have Brazil. It is still up 81% on cases, 68% on deaths. Austria is up 18% on cases, 5% on deaths. Mexico cases are now down 19%, and deaths are now down 46%, so that's some good news, because they were seeing a concerning rise. Poland, cases are up 24%, deaths up 45%. Chile has a 29% rise in cases, 22% decrease in deaths, and we'll just end it on Romania. 26% increase in cases and 16% increase in deaths. Alrighty, that does it for today's pandemic video. If you are new to my channel, or if this is the first time you've seen a pandemic video, hit the like and subscribe button down below. I do a lot of informative content, including pandemic updates, H5N1, special news reports like we did one on the Ohio train derailment. I also do climate and weather updates, and I try to do them daily. Tomorrow will be the next climate update. That'll probably be the next video that I release here on the channel. Until then, stay safe, everyone. See you next time.